right. Welcome to Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are starting day one of fundamental layout design with Nick Hunter. So, Nick, thank you for joining us and thanks for
Thank you.
working with us yesterday and trying to figure things out. But I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen and let you share yours.
Okay. So, hello everybody. I'm glad to be back. So I miss you guys. It was like a long time, like 3 months, even more. So I'm glad to be back and online with you. And then so I'm going to start today a new series about the design. So I'm doing that a lot, because basically I'm a graphic designer and UI UX designer. So we are going to talk about this, but we are going to talk about this in a deep way. That means we're going to talk about. So we are going to start slowly. So I'm going to go back to the fundamental of design, graphic design, UI design, everything. And then we go crescendo, crescendo, crescendo every day. And then, we have a full design course for FileMaker, because this is a difficulty. Okay, so let's start talking about design. The prime of design, right, is that every platform has its capabilities, So of course, when you do Xcode, C++, you have pretty much no limits, right? You have all the UI UX design capabilities possible, and you can create your own. And then you have the web also. They have their capabilities. And we have FileMaker, we have our own capabilities, and we have limitation, right? I hope we hadn't this limitation, but we have several limitations. But doesn't mean that we cannot do anything, We can build very, very beautiful and capable layouts, right? In terms of UI UX. But the problem is everything is not out of the box, right? And I remember back in the day when I was over there and we were talking about this, our everything cannot be out of the box because there's like, for example, we have the tab control. This is one object, right? And the tab control has many limitations because it is a pre-built object. So when you have a pre-built object, you can use what they built, but that's it, right? You cannot go beyond this, right? So that's why building like a pre-built object, right? It's not something like that we can manage and we can have flexibility with, right? So that's a problem. But with FileMaker, we have many capabilities, right? And most of the time, uh, people doesn't know we can do that, right? So this is what you're going to learn with that course, okay, with that series. So what you're going to learn is the fundamental guidelines, principles, right? In design itself, how to organize layouts, how to organize data, how to present data, how to avoid mistakes, how to avoid making a layout cumbersome, complicated, hard to use, right? And how to prevent having, like a huge learning curve. Because with FileMaker, um, you know, you can build the layout for yourself, or you can build layout for others. So when you build a layout for yourself, you don't care, like myself, I have a solution, to my bank for my tax and stuff like this. There's no UI at all because it's my stuff. I don't care. I have buttons there, button here, because it's my stuff, right? So I don't really care. But when you build something for somebody else, And when you build something for a group of people, you have different level of knowledge. You have you have tech savvy people and you have pretty new people, newbies, right? So you need to manage all of this, right? And what you don't want the layout so complex to use that scare people, right? And of course, you don't want a layout that leads to mistakes. You don't want people to, like says, do a mistake and say, "Oh, I didn't know," "Oh, well, I wasn't sure," or So, and sometimes people do crazy things, and sometimes you will see what the people think to do that you will never imagine but since you didn't guide the people and you didn't prevent people to do mistakes, right? Well, this is not their fault, it's your fault as a developer because you didn't anticipate that people could do that, right? So, and most of the time, also, design will help you. It's your big, it's your best friend. When you know design, you will see that 90% of the complexity, 90% of the difficulty you have building the layout, getting things to work, you know, the design will help you to fix this, right? But you have the other side of the of the point is that it's time consuming, So be ready that if you want to build a good design, right? A good layout, good looking, or easy to use, and efficient layout, you need to spend time. So that it's, you cannot have a quick and dirty things, you need to put time there, right? But what you can say to your customer is that all the money you're going to put now, you're going to save it like 1,000 times later, because your employee will be more efficient, because the data will be more accurate. So you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
so the design very important. So in this webinar, what we're going to learn is all of this, from start to finish, how to build a very nice, good-looking, working layout with FileMaker. At the end, you will be able to build something good, something very nice, right? So I'm not going to explain um, all of the design during that 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't remember how long it is, because we have other webinars where we explain how to build those components. A layout, you have different components, right? And in order to you to understand, we're going to guide you, send you to the webinar where we talk about this specific object, right? This specific component, right? We call component is like a construction that you make yourself with using FileMaker, that and you build something that is not out of the box, but at the end you have like a component, you have you know a widget, you have something, right? So let me see if we have any questions so far first. So do we have any questions? If you have questions on Discord, that a good time before we start. I don't see anything, so I think we're good to go. Let me share my screen right quick. So pretty much what we want at the end, we want you to be able to build something like this, right? So that's what we want you to do, to build something like this, and to learn how to build something like this and not making mistakes, right? This is the extreme of a layout, right? You have a lot of things there, right? This is a very extreme. But even though you have a lot of things, right? Everything is organized, well put there, So uh, It's easy to get there. And of course, it is tailored for a specific task, right? So when you build a layout, we build to fit the everyday need of the employee of that company, right? So that's why we have a hierarchy. We start with documents, and then because that's what the most important for them. So when they land, when they arrive in the layout, they have the most important thing first, and then you dig down, right? So this is how you build. But let's start from the beginning, right? So this is your problem, right? This is your problem. Your problem is when you get there, where to start, how I can start, because you have no idea. You have a blank page, and you have the blank page syndrome, right? How I start, like writing a book, how I start. Starting is the most complicated, because you don't know. But fortunately, we are database software. We deal with data, right? So that good, because we are not a game online. We are not I don't know, photo editing software. So we are a database software. So we build databases. And so there's ways to present data, right, for database. Like no, like for example, when you use a spreadsheet, they're all the same, right? Because it's a spreadsheet, right? Well, here we are in the database, right? So, but first, you know, what in a design where what we need to learn is the fundamental principle, right? So, for example, I get this example here, you have uh, most of the color are gray and white, right? So I have a grays and I have white. This is the color for backgrounds and, let's say, areas, right? Well, so this is the two colors that you use: gray, white, and some drop shadow, to give some depth in the layout, to be less boring, right? Visually, to be nice to look, nice to watch, to see, right? So, but you have other colors, right? So here, how many colors you see? So you see, I have a blue color, right? I have a lot of blues. And then I have some green. I have some a gray, dark gray, right? I have some red, right? So I have some colors, but they are very different colors. They are distinct color. They are distinct category of colors. First, we have what we call the accent color. So what is the accent color? Is the blue. This is an accent color. Something that I want to highlight. I want something to outstand, right? So I have a blue color. A button's blue, right? This is a button's blue. I have a selection indicator blue. This is the selection indicator, right? Blue, blue, button, right? Then I have another button here. And then I have some outstanding data that I want people to see, right? So for example, the day of the date here is blue because I want to stand out, right? So I don't know, you have some blue here. Titles are blue, buttons, dates here, date, button, you know. This is because it's small. Button here, right? So we have different colors like this. You have green sometime because green. I'm going to. I'm coming to the green, but you have blue, blue. Okay, so they're outstanding. So the accent color we call accent. buttons, data, outstanding data, something like this, all the same damn color. No blue here, no yellow here, orange here. No, right? It's when you have one accent color, you stick with it from the beginning to the end in every single layout. This is your accent color, right? Why? Because otherwise you confuse people. You are confusing them, right? Why this is orange and the other one's blue? Why this one is green, right? Because you
Yeah,
don't
so
want to,
you're
yeah,
sorry. So I just want to clarify because the way that you said it initially and the way that I heard it, when you pick an accent color, then that accent color needs to be the same across all the layouts that you have,
all the
right? Like
layout.
you don't, yeah,
Yes.
you don't want to switch. Yeah.
No.
Otherwise, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So because you want, first, it's easier for you, because you have a theme in FileMaker. I'm going to come there. You have a theme, so you build a button. The button come blue
Mhm.
with the icon blue, and that's it, right? So and then you can copy paste a button and reuse it, or copy
Mhm.
paste a date, remap it, and use it again, right? So it's easier for you, but you don't want to have multiple colors, right?
Mhm.
And it's a big, big, big mistake, right? To have many accent color in the same layouts. It's
Yeah.
a big mistake. You confuse people. You're going
Yeah.
and it looks ugly
It's
because
distracting.
yeah, it looks like we call the Christmas tree effect. You
Mhm.
know. Okay, so and when you want something to stand out, like a lot, right? No, let's rephrase. If you need to make something to outstanding so much that you crush the design, right? That's something wrong because you shouldn't have to crush the design. That means to slap the user in the face with something like flashy and stuff like this, right? You don't want that, right? So, but we're going to talk about that. Right now, we talk about the fundamental. So we have the accent color, right? And then you have the function color, right? So what a function color? You have two colors, accent and function. This one is a function color. Green is active. Green is good. Good. Go. Go. Good to go. When you go, we use other. I tend to do this, right? When you have in design, right? Because we live in a society and we have cultural training. It's cultural. If you go, so if I draw something like this, if I draw this and this, what that mean for you? What the
Uh,
blue means and the red means. So it should be like this,
Blue,
but
I don't, yeah, blue, I wouldn't know. Red is stop. Don't go further.
yeah,
Don't,
but
yeah.
most of the time when you have both together, what it mean? In your bathroom, in your
I'm at a
bathroom.
loss. I don't know.
You don't know in your bathroom that the red
No.
is hot water and blue is
Oh, sorry,
okay.
we don't have
So
colors in my bathroom. Yeah,
yeah, you
hot and
have
cold.
this in your bathroom. I'm pretty sure if I go to your bathroom, I go to the sink, I can see those two colors. And on the left, you have the hot the hot uh, faucet, and on the
Mm,
right, you have the cold faucet. That for sure. It's the standard. But if I ask a guy in the 18th century and I show him this, he will say, I have no idea what it is. But we
mhm.
know, if I tell you the bathroom, what this in your bathroom, red color, hot water and cold water, right? Now, if I do something like this, right, that easy. If I do something like this, okay, what it is?
It's a stoplight.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, it's yeah, it's a It's a traffic light. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So why you know it's a traffic light? Because I
Because
have the red, the orange, and the green. So what in the traffic light this means? Green, go, you're good to go. You okay? You good. Orange say, yeah, okay, you almost good, but
Mhm.
you should stop. You know, soon you have to stop. And when
Mhm.
you see this, no way, no, not good. You know, not good. If you pass this, you have a ticket. Okay, not good.
Mhm.
So here so we use those function color, right? Like this too.
Mhm.
This is not coded. Does that mean it's red? This is coded. That means it's green. This is active. That means it's green. It's okay. It's good to go. It's running. Is on. You know, this is gray. That means it's nice. It is so. Why is not red? Because red is danger, not good, something wrong. You know, here's something wrong. It's not coded, not signed, right? Not ready,
Yep.
right? But inactive, does it needs to be that bad to be like red, like say, to no to raise a red flag, like we said? No, it's
Yep.
inactive, is dead, is gray, you know, is you know, is gone. Okay, bye. Is gray, right?
Yep.
So that so now you know. For example, here, what happened here? You know, coded to nobody. So that means I have a sign here. I have a I have a exclamation point here. Say, okay, hey, here's something wrong. You know,
Mhm.
red. That's green. It's good to go. Okay, so sometimes you have this on the text here, say, okay, yeah, you have something. It's, it's to show you, is to highlight that there's something here, you know, on the notes. I have two notes here, right? So there's something here. So it's a green because there's something here, and it should be, you know. Here I don't have, here I don't have, I have, but it's not important to know. But this is important to know. Something is green, right? So
Mhm.
when you use the function color, use them widely. And now you understand why you don't want this to be red or green. Why green? Why this should be, why this indicated, why this accent color should be green? Why was green? Why? Because green is good. Green is
Mhm.
okay. Green has a meaning,
Yep.
you know? I choose the blue. I love the blue. I like the blue, right? But green is good, red not good, right? So when you go somewhere here, I don't know if I can, if you go somewhere here, I don't know if I have a delete button somewhere. um you know when you do a delete button, something like this, you need to put red. Delete should be red. Delete should be red. I mean, when it's something like you delete something, like you're going to delete something big, right? Like if you delete the whole thing here, I don't even have a delete button here, because it's not supposed to be deleted. I don't,
Yeah.
right? So that is the beginning of the course about the accent color. So let me go to the Discord. Yeah, semaphore. Yes. Um, brass fixture doesn't have.
Thank you,
uh,
Jesse. That's yeah, that's what we have. Anyway, that's a sidetrack conversation.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. You have a H and a C.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but because yeah, it's okay. But more than
Mhm.
more than you have, blue and mostly you have blue and red.
Mhm.
It was for my demo. So okay, so yeah, some does RCC use their own custom theme for everything? I haven't done measurement design, but it seemed to me. So the question is, does RCC use their own custom theme for everything? I haven't done very much layout design, but it seemed to me that the default theme
Mhm.
Apex Blue used too many shade of the Apex. The Apex is a disaster. Don't use it. So I get stuck. subtle difference between the different object when I want to use. Yeah, the apex. Don't use the apex. If you want to use a default theme, that's a theme. That's another one than this one. Or you can use the one I'm going to give you. Yeah, red and blue universal indicator.
I
So
don't know,
yeah,
real quick. I don't know if this is like going back too far and if this is a serious question or not, but it's definitely something in my head. Mike said, should I start a new layout with pencil and paper before starting?
no,
And that's
no.
something that I always consider and think about when I'm
Yeah,
doing
no.
layout design.
What you can do, you can use FileMaker for a mockup, right? And typically I'm using like a rectangle here, and then I'm using something like this, right? And I do some stuff like this, so pretty much, you organize your stuff like this, you say, okay, what I can do, I can put here the master details, but we're
Mm,
going to go, we're going there, we're going to do that. We start slow
mm,
with this accent stuff, because it's to me, it's very important. Okay. So the accent, because when I see some layout, I say, oh my gosh, you know, so, so, so if we have another question, I don't know. So, um, what version FM and FM server will you be working with? The latest. So 22. I'm on 21 right now, for compatibility issues, with some servers. So I need to stay with 21 for some time, but otherwise I use the latest one. So, but that design doesn't matter which FileMaker you are. You can be on the 20, 21, 22. Um, that the same. Okay, so hosting is two people typing and Mike. I think you said you couldn't see the comment on YouTube. Okay, okay, that work will back. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay. Thank you.
yeah, okay, so other thing that I want to mention, for the basic, starting base, the basic is where's this? Okay, is the other matter that is important is the freaking buttons. You know, okay. Um, I took the decision that following that webinar, we're going to talk about menu. Okay. Because here, for example, when you open this, you have some button here, right? But I don't have a new folder button. There's no, okay. Presentation here, I have this, but I don't have a new uh, folder. No, I have this new folder, right? If I go, I don't know, here, you know, so new folder, right? We don't have or command N, you know. I don't have a button for new folder, neither for delete, you know. Delete we drag to the trash or we have the shortcut, right? To delete. We
Yep.
don't have, I don't see a delete button here. I don't, right? So that being said, you don't want to put a button for every single thing, right? You don't want to put buttons all over the place, okay? Because it's confusing, you
Yeah.
know. I have some buttons, I have some, but they have two function, not only one, and sometimes three function, right? So when you want to place a button, you need to make sure the button is tells what it needs to do, right? And
Mhm.
position where it should be position. Okay. So for example, let's say, right, we have a list here. Let's say we have a list here. Okay, I have a list. And this is a list of contacts, right? And I want to, so this is a list of contacts. So I'm going there, putting a text, and I say list of contacts. Okay, contacts or contact list. Okay, this is my contact list. That's okay. But then I want to add a contact. I want a button to add contact, right? So we're going to build a button, right? And we can say add contact. And since it's adding a contact, I can add a plus sign because this is, right? This is, no, like this, right? So, but this is a lot of thing here. That's a lot of that's a lot to see. So something is wrong here. There's too many, okay, contact lists, add contact. Well, one of the two need to go. Okay. So there's two ways to fix this, right? So first, most of the time when you have something like this, you need to put that inside the zone, not outside. You know, you have the contact list and then you have your list, right? Like this. Let's pretend we have a list. And so I'm doing like this. So I have a list like this, right? Contact list. But I don't want to do that neither too much, right?
Yep.
So what you can do, right? What you can do is just do wipe this and do this. Okay? Contact list plus. That's it. We know what that. We know what the plus is. We are in a contact list. We are in a zone, right? We are in this zone, this area, which is the contacts, right? Obviously, this is for the contacts. This is a contact list. So the plus is not adding a document, right? Is adding a contact, correct? So this is one way you can do, right? But this is not my favorite. You know, there's another one, and I'll let you pick the one you want, but we all have preferences. I will get rid of this. I will get rid of this, and I will put that here. Add contact. Oops. Right? So why we do this? Why this? Well, when you have a list like this, right? When you have a list like this, and you have names like this, right? Let's say you have names, and you have an add contacts. You know this button visually. You know this button is it belongs to this stuff because it's inside the box, right? If I remove the box, yeah, yeah. But if I have a box to encapsulate the whole thing, the add contact button, you know, also have it has the function of telling you what it is below this, right? You know, right? You know it's this, right? Like when you go to
Yeah.
your music app and you want to add a playlist, when you are in the playlists layout in your app and you have just a plus button because you know the plus is going to add a playlist. It's not going to add or, you know, anything else, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, so you have two ways to do that, right? Because if you have um, another, if you let's say you have another construction, so let's put a construction like this, right? And you have another thing here, and you need another button, right? Like add document, for example, documents, right? So of course, everything that is here needs to be about documents,
Mhm.
right? you cannot, so it needs to be a document, right? Those need to be documents here to get to make to be consistent, right? I mean, otherwise you're going to mislead the user. So add contact, add documents, right?
Hmm.
So everything belongs to everything. It's attached, visually attached. What you don't want to do is to have the document list here and have the add document here. And then you feel obligated to say, okay, this is a document list. Okay.
Yep.
But why to put the add document here when you have the list here? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look right.
Yep.
Right? So you confuse the
Insufficient.
people.
Yep.
So when you have this, like I said, sarcastically, the 1980 look, UI, 1980, with those band of buttons, with a lot of buttons like this, and you have a button here, and you have another one, and another one, and another one, and another,
It becomes
you
like a
know,
button bar.
yeah, it doesn't feel right, right? No, you need to organize your layout in a way. Yeah, I don't want to delete this one. You need to organize your layout in a way, right, that you don't confuse people, and that's what we're going to learn during that series of webinar, right? So how to build stuff and organize stuff. But this is about fundamentals, right? The buttons,
Hmm.
that have, so you can remove object. Your goal, right? So I remember, I got trained by Apple, and I got, mostly of my mentors and teachers and stuff like they were Apple employees, from Apple, their design, and we can argue, but Apple designer are not the worst in the world, right? So they pretty much invented the graphic design, the graphic interface. So and I had the privilege sometime to talk to veteran of the Lisa time at Apple, right? So so the goal, and one guy told me at the Cafe Mac, the Cafe Mac.
Hmm.
One thing he told me, what you need to do is you need to fight night and day to remove things. Remove things. Your goal is to say, how I can remove this from the layout, right?
To
Remove.
simplify to clean.
Yes. How I can remove something.
Hmm.
What can I remove here? Can I remove something? And,
Yeah.
and now it's, for me, it's like an OCD. You know,
Yep.
I want to remove things, right? I hate getting things, and to be honest with you, that customer, sometimes you say, "Oh, Nick, I had this here." I say, all right, like this one, this one get me nervous. This get me nervous because I didn't do that. You know, it get me nervous, but the customer pays, right?
Yep.
Okay, so and you want that here, right? And I let it here. And one day I fixed it, and the day before it was back. So I said, you know, I like the emoji, like I shut up, right? And I leave it like this, right? So, but how I can remove things, right? So sometimes you need to organize things, right?
Hmm.
So you can. I'm not saying that you cannot put things, but like this one here, right? Like this one here.
Yeah.
Why doesn't come? Should come. Okay. So imagine you have all these freaking things in the layout, right? The guy want this, and I understand he need that, you
Hmm.
know. It needs that. I mean, it can. I'm not saying that. Oh no, you cannot. But okay, it's inside the box. When you build a layout, what you need to do is to think like you are in a kitchen, right? So
Okay.
if I
Yep.
go to your home, right,
Hmm.
or unless you have a big disorder problem, well, you have a cabinet with your plates,
Hmm.
with the dishes, and you have a drawer with your utensils, right?
Yep. Yep.
And if I'm and I never went to your home, but I'm pretty sure that under the sink I'm going to find some product to clean up and some, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, I never been to your house. How I know that?
Because those are the basics. Those are the fundamentals of like
It's a
a
fundamental.
kitchen, what you need. Yeah.
It's cultural. You
Hmm.
know, you condition like this,
Hmm.
right? So think the same thing. And most of the time, most of the time you have. I say most of the time because in my house here it's not like this. So most of the time, you have on the upper cabinet you have the dishes, right?
Yep.
On the upper cabinet, okay. And on the drawers, you have the utensil, and pretty much sure that the first drawer is where you have your utensils.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a reason because you need that. So,
Yep.
but doesn't mean that you have all the utensils on your counter like this.
Hmm.
So why you want to do that on your layout, having all the utensils in your counter, all the plates in your counter, all the glasses on your counter, all the pots on your counter. No, the pots are on your cabinet and lower
Hmm.
cabinet. The pots, they're not
Yep.
up because they're heavy, right?
Yep.
So you need to think the same way. The guy, this customer need all those things, right? So we organize everything to be in one drawer, one cabinet,
Hmm.
right? I didn't put that there, it's there.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you have to put some buttons here. Like, for example, this button here, it said, okay, I want to omit that from my found set. I have 35 found. I want to omit this guy. you know, I want to remove it from my front set. So you need that button here, right?
Yeah.
It needs it. So it's there, right? But it's positioned here and it's small and tiny and on the right, on the left, okay? It's not in the middle of the face like omit, right? Because it's not a fundamental function of it. It's not, it's not a big function. It's there, but it could use the omit record here, the commentee, right? But the guy is on the PC and the shortcut on PC sucks. So, because I use, commentee, to omit a records, I used to that, but he has a PC and control T is not, I don't know. He has a button. Okay. But so buttons, right? We don't want to be all over the place. So now other
Hmm.
thing that we can see, and then after that, I'm going to the question. So I'm going there, I'm going to duplicate that layout, okay? And I'm going to delete this. So other problem they can do, you can, and when you build a button, right? Like, plus, uh, when you put something like this, and you put the add stuff, okay? So why this here? Why I would have done? Why to do something like this? Green. Why to do something like this? Right? Like this. Why?
Hmm.
You know. Okay. Green. Why green? So you need a reason if you want to put something like this. You need a good reason if you want to have a green stuff. Okay. We're going to, I'm going to explain to you later. But I want to explain you the rule here. We don't use function colors for no reason. So the green, we don't use it. And of course, what you don't want is to put a button like this, destroy the world, okay? And green, right? And saying that, um, okay, congrats, you unalived, uh, uh, I don't know, 10 billion people, okay? So you don't want a green button, in the middle of the face of the people. And when you click like this, okay, you kill the people, you don't want that. So when there's something very important, you don't put a wrong color in the wrong place, like in the middle of the face of people, when it's something like, like this, like destroying the world, right? So you don't want that. So buttons need to be positioned in the layout in very, very specific way and for a very good reason. Otherwise, get rid of it, or put it in a drawer, like your plates, like your dishes, like your glasses, right? Don't put that in the front of the people. You need to put buttons on the right place, showing the right title,
Hmm.
what they do, you know, not what they look like.
Yeah.
They need to know. People need to know what they do with the button. You know, like here is generating an invoice. You don't add an invoice. This is not what it's doing. It's generating an invoice. It's very different. You generate and then you add an invoice to an account, but you need to generate the invoice first and then you add the invoice, right? Or attach the invoice. So the wording you're going to use is very important too, right? You
Yeah.
can, it's very important, right? So do we have questions? Make sure. No, okay.
Got it.
So no
Okay.
question, no question. Does someone does this is special software for drawing? Yeah, there's some. Okay, so that was back and forth discussion. Okay, so this when when you buttons, objects, things on the layout, you need to remove everything you can. Most of you can, because you confuse people, especially when you have a busy layout, because yeah, people need their information. They need their info, But before, when I first worked for that guy, everything was there. The layout was giant and it was everything there. So now everything is organized, right? With tabs, drawers within, like a, compartment in the drawers and and cabinet, and then you have box, right? And then the box you have all the things, right? So and the buttons and the controls, everything needs to be well organized, and we're going to learn where to put, how to put, and stuff like this. But I don't see any problem, any question here. No question. Yeah, YouTube question, Mario. I just update between 21. So what suggestion will you give in case of improving UI design? The current database had not taken any change of layout for 15 years. Should I start from crash? Yeah. Okay. So I can show you an example. Um, you need to start from scratch the layout. Don't try to arrange to fix a layout you have. Don't. Start with a blank. So the question was pretty much, I have a 15 years old solution, and should I restart from scratch, or should I try to fix the current layout? Start from scratch. I'm going to show you. So we did that here, right? We did like here, parcels, um, parcel info. We start from this. So pretty much the same thing you're going to end up doing. So that was the first layout, very slow to open because, okay, that's the first layout, right? This is it. See, the same info, right? The same info. Uh, so if I go to the same, I think it should be this one, the first. I don't know if that the, oh, because I don't have the same. Yeah, I need to show all, you know, need to show all the clear filter. Okay. Then, okay. So that's the first and that's the first. See, 76, 380. That's the same data, right? The same data from this guy. So you
Same.
see here the same, but they are presented differently.
Yeah. Pick up far
Because yeah,
less space
so
too.
it's pretty much, the value, the final is, so you have different tabs here, but pretty much they're the same, they're the same guy. So the same data, the same table, right? But that was the old layouts, the documents, the parcel activity, the parcel reports. It has plenty of stuff like this, the contract, the invoicing, right? So that was
Mm-hmm.
his invoicing, so that was his stuff he has before, right? It wasn't, look, it wasn't too bad, but I mean, it's terrible. And now he knows, because this is the layout now, right? So there's no master detail. We're going to show you this, So what we did is, okay, what do you need? I work with the guy, say, what do you need? Okay, what is this? Because what what is the importance in the layout, what is for, right? What is represents. Okay, so why have two times this, right? Well, this is the owner info and this is the property info, right? So that is the same, but sometimes it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why we have those colors, why we have this? Oh yeah, because you want the highlight when you have, when you're inside, but that awful. It kills your eyes. Okay. So this is what we have now. Okay. So the site address, right, is there, right? Then we have the general info with all this information here, the parcel information, you know, the mail to, the mail, the property address, the site address, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we organize everything in a way uh, that is easier to find, right?
Yeah.
But we have the same thing, we have the same, but in the same time, what it did with me is that a reshuffling or reorganization. Say, okay, let's make it better, and then we talk back and forth. Say, okay, what do I need to with those things? Say what is those things? What those things? So we talk about and we come with some design and say, yeah, but I need this here, I need that there, I need that together, I need to be together. So, and we reorganize the tabs here, right? We
Mm-hmm.
organize those things, right? Um, with him to get consistent with the drawers. You don't want to put
Mm-hmm.
like a bleach next to your dish, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right? So that's the same thing, right? So do we have questions on your side?
So, nothing on my side. Like they've been posting the questions from YouTube because I don't on our YouTube side it won't
Mm-hmm.
display any of the
Mm-hmm.
chat. So a lot of these are from YouTube. Um, I think like just real quick from my perspective in listening to you and kind of some of the takeaways, I really like your kitchen analogy of like the way that I view it is like, okay, this space or this layout that we're working in is the kitchen, and you need to sit there and think about what are the fundamentals and the basic things that need to go in the kitchen, kind of throw them all, I'm going to just say throw them all in a bag, if you will, but then you need to figure out how to organize them. What are the things that you're going to access most often and put those in the forefront? What are the things that you need in there, but you don't need that often? Okay, you can put those in some kind of like pop-up window, like you have the little like three
hmm
dots on the side,
hmm hmm
and start thinking about it from that aspect of what are the different layers within the layout to maximize the space that you are using and still fit everything in there that you need to go in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
You
and
got
then
it.
colors, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You got it because for example, you know, I like fresh in Greece. We have a lot of orange, right? So I
mhm,
like orange juice, fresh orange juice, and I'm taking like 5 or 6 a day, right? So yeah, the orange pressure, the squeeze orange stuff machine that I have is on the counter, always plugged, because I was
yeah,
tired to get it out from the counter, from the cabinet, right?
yeah.
So
It's something that
yeah,
you use a lot, so yeah, keep it in the
ex
forefront.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the blender is not.
Hmm.
Is underneath, is on because I don't need that. I'm not the blender guy. I'm more also the orange juice guy. So, like the coffee machine. Oh yeah, the coffee machine is there, because I'm
Hmm.
using that a lot, right?
Yeah.
So exactly. The thing about the kitchen is good because depending on each thing you do, right?
Hmm.
You need to have the right buttons at the
Hmm.
right place, right? Like
Yep.
for example, this button here copies the address. Well,
Hmm.
copy, you know, copy. And this icon, everybody knows what this icon is. So after that, yes. So that before we go, I want to talk to you another aspect of the cultural stuff. We are educated. We are educated. That means in the 80s, we had problem because people didn't know, you know, what was this stuff. So pretty much the first music player I ever used on the Mac, right, on my
Hmm.
computer, it was like the music player was looking like a cassette machine. You know, you have a
Yeah.
cassette
Yep.
turning like this, right? And that was my music player. So why this? It's because in the 80s, a music player was a cassette machine,
Hmm.
or record,
Yep.
right? So, but after that, we had an evolution. So the next one was looking like a CD player,
Hmm.
right? And the next one, well, there's no more CD. It was looking like an iPod.
Yep.
And now it looked like nothing. It looked like a no, because we don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Because we are educated. That's it. We understand what's going on. When we use a music player, we know that the triangle, pointing to the right at the play. We know that, right? So,
Yep.
and we know the two arrows crossing each other. We know that this is a shuffle, and we know
Hmm.
that the two arrows that bite their tails like this,
Yeah.
that
We
is the repeat.
repeat. Yep.
And we know the repeat with the little one on top of it. This is a repeat itself,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
That talk to you. Okay, so we are all educated, right? We are educated because everywhere we go, we have a screen. You go to you go to the fast food chain. You have a screen. You go to the bank, you have a screen. You go to the airport, you have a screen, right?
Hmm.
So we are educated with screen, and we have a screen on our pocket, right? So
Yep.
we are extremely educated. That's a problem. It's good, but that's a problem. You need to use the right um, image, the right icon, right, the right glyph. You need to use it wisely because it has a meaning. So you cannot say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use the play button to delete something." No, a play icon, the icon play, or the plus. The plus cannot be delete, right? It
Yeah.
cannot. Because you're confused by you're going to confuse everybody. by doing this, right? So you understand? So
Yeah.
you need to use the icons, right? So when there's no icon possible because it's too specific, right? Well, in that case, you have no choice but to use the word,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So when you can use an icon, use it. Sometime if you have when you need to when you need to add additional information, you can use the icon with the action like add or generate, right? Or show, add, you know. And if you want, and if you have enough space, you can add what is doing, add
Hmm.
offers, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you use the button with the double use, or the action and information.
Hmm.
You know you can click on it and you know what it is. You know what this is for, right?
Yep.
I know. Okay. So, uh, any questions here? Don't think so. No. Yeah, YouTube question. No, that's the same question. Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to continue talking about. So that's the basic. I need to go. Okay, the boss told me be basic, right? So that
Yeah.
was very basic. So tomorrow we're going to talk about spacing and talking about navigation, but mostly about spacing thing, and positioning thing, position and space.
Perfect. That sounds
Okay.
great. All right. Thank you, Nick. And then I don't know if I will be back with you tomorrow or Margaret, but you will get one of us.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I do
Um,
have some questions for you that I think will be helpful for people that join that are not as
no,
advanced developers, but if I'm not here, I'll send them to
no, no, I mean,
Margaret.
no, no. We can. No, typically, we go 5, 10 minutes more. So if you want, we can do that now.
It's such a, I feel like basic question, but also
Yes.
like a little bit for the future.
Mhm.
And it has more to do with when, like, say your first layout, you're like, cool, I got my first layout done. It has everything in it that I want in it. Now, what do I do for the second layout? Do I copy and paste the first layout, or do I build a second one completely from scratch? And at what point, if you know, like, okay, in my head, a database that I'm working on right now, I'm like, I have 10 layouts. Do
Yes.
I do the basic, like, design layout on one and then copy that for everything else? Or, like, how far do you go before you like start the next one? I don't know. That was a
Uh,
long-winded.
no, it's okay. It's a nice question. Okay, so this is how I'm doing. You know, I have
Hmm.
38, 39 years of working with FileMaker.
Hmm.
So I'm building one layout full, you know, with with the knowledge I have at the
Hmm.
at that moment with the customer. I'm building the layout full because the layout is like a house; it's never done.
Yep.
Okay, never. Okay. So, but at one point, we need to finish it, right? So I build one layout, right? And the
Hmm.
second one, I build with the same, I mean, okay, I build with the same layout, but not with the FileMaker meaning, the same architecture, the same layout, the same,
Okay. Yep.
uh, like for example, if I go to another layout, so let's go, yeah, it's when I do zoom, it's so super slow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. So let's go to that guy because navigation is another part we're going to talk about.
Hmm.
So if I go to that guy, show all record. So if I go to that guy,
Hmm.
it looks very, very similar. So you need to have consistency in the organization of your layouts,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I have this kebab, that the name of the object kebab. I have the
Okay.
kebab icon. have the omit icon, the same green and gray, active, inactive, right?
Yeah.
The same information about how many records found, in total, if it's sorted or not, the same search box on both, right?
Hmm.
So you have the same pretty much four level, line here, right?
Yep.
So you keep the same organization, the same separation, the same bar here, the
Hmm.
same type of main top information where I am, okay?
Yeah. What
Contact,
layout you're on.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, where you are, you want to contact, but currently I'm on way wrong, right?
Hmm.
And you have the same uh, type of boxing info with a different layout, but
Yep.
the same type of grouping object together, right? Right. This is all about communication. This is all about
Hmm.
email, phone. This is all about names. So we have pretty much the same organization. Is
Hmm.
different, but you understand that if you do this, you save a lot of time because you
Hmm.
don't duplicate the layout. This is too much, but you can create a new layout with the same size
Okay.
and copy paste
Got it. Okay.
and remap,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And that's because they're the same, so the same, same blue,
Hmm.
black, light gray, right?
Yep.
But that I'm
And
going to come with this, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and when you say remap, because I just want to make sure that I'm clear on everybody
Yeah,
else. My
remap
no,
is you
remap
what
is like because okay, the one that's in the back is on parcels. All of
yes,
the
so
fields on that are connected to that parcels
exactly.
layout, so you
Yeah.
need to remap. Yep. Okay.
Remap the
So it's
objects,
contacts.
right?
Yeah.
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 But if you go throughout all this database, you will see that all the layout, they have the same basic layout,
Hmm.
same basic layout with, English term, right? Not
Yeah.
FileMaker term. If I go to this to the if I go to the site here, so we go to the site layout here, uh, you see same with some
Yep.
differences because I need some stuff for the site that I didn't need on contact,
Yep.
but it's pretty much right.
Yep.
Same
Yep.
thing, same
Same feel
things.
there.
But
Yep.
yeah, but here I need three because I don't need four, right?
Hmm.
You cannot go more than four, right? If you want more, and that you're going to learn when you want more info, because this is very important. Sometimes you want something different. Well, what do you want to display? Oh, I want to display the hearing information.
Hmm.
This change. And here you can display.
Oh,
You see,
that's nice. Yeah.
you can display different information depending on what you want to see, what you work on. So we have one list with different function. So here you have all the different uh thing we can show. And here I have like a, you know, changing, going,
Yeah.
next, like this,
Oh, I like
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of this is thing we can build, and I'm going to show you all of this, right? But yes, when you want to create another layout, finish this one. I mean, the most you can, advance it the most that you can, and then you create a new one, same dimension, same,
Hmm.
put the same object here, and build universal objects.
Yeah.
And so what do I call universal object? This object here, for example, I can
Hmm.
copy paste on every single layout. It will work,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Right. Because I don't, you want to do that as much
It,
as possible,
yeah.
like those constructions here as well. You can
Hmm.
copy, you can borrow. I like the word borrow. You borrow from one layout and you put another one, and then you remap,
Hmm.
rearrange, but if you have one done, and the advantage is um, to keep consistent objects appearance, then you don't need to rework all the time. You you save a lot of time. You have object you can borrow and copy paste and duplicate,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then we're going to, since we're there, you need to help yourself, and you need like a discipline of work, right? Like for example, here, and then we go.
Okay.
A typical example. We have a construction here that is a little bit complex, right? But when you want to give me the hand. Okay, here I'm on slide 9, correct?
Yep.
That the object, that's because it's a slide control. I'm going to come there,
Well, okay.
But here I'm on the slide 9.5 because I'm on the 5th one. But this object here is this slide 9. Here I have another slide within a slide. So this slide is named 9. This is 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. So I know this object is part of the slide number 9 because it's 9, And if I had another slide inside the slide number 9.4, it will be named 9.4.1, 9.4.2, etc. Because then you can see here on the tree, on the slide
Yeah.
9, on the 9, I have the 9.1, right? And I have
Yeah.
the 9.2, the
It's all contained
9.3,
within it. Yeah.
and 9.4, and maybe I'm looking if I have a 9 something. So each slide here, you have all the thing here inside, right? So
Yep.
here I have another slide control, 7.1, see, 7, 7,
Yeah.
1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the discipline, the naming, all counts when you start building something like this, right? Everything, you need to use everything you can to help you to retrieve your things, because otherwise it will be like a nightmare, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so I don't, for example, here, this object here on the 9, right? Here, this object here, I didn't, I didn't call it invoice log. I didn't call it. I said 9.4, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want, you want to help yourself to get the most easier way to retrieve yourself visually, right? Because this, I want you're going to use that object tree a lot, right? In the future, you will see. Now maybe you don't use it, but you will use
Mm-hmm.
it a lot, right? So yeah, so consistent, because you can, for example, sometimes I say, oh, I want to build a pole, and I say, oh yeah, but I have a pole that look almost the same. Let's borrow this one, you know, and you
Mm-hmm.
borrow this one, and then you took it a little bit, boom, and you have a new object, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a lot of things, say, okay, yeah, let's, oh yeah, this one is the one I want. I have more object, more choice. I have a pop-up and I have a date. Yeah, the one I want to do looks the same as this. Okay, let's copy this, right? And they look all the same, and they all, because consistency, visual consistency is also always something you want to seek, to
Yeah.
be perfect, because you want to convey a sense of quality,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Absolutely.
quality, everything need to be aligned, and I have OCDs, because if this is not aligned, this object on the left is not aligned on the same point here,
Mm-hmm.
on every single layout, I cannot sleep at night because I don't know, I have OCDs, right? But I
Yeah.
know it is important. All of this we're going to cover. All of this we're going to work to learn why and the reason, because everything has a reason. Everything, you know.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to watching some of those and hopefully joining more of these
Yes,
live
yeah,
streams and
you're
learning.
very welcome.
Yeah. On all my free time I have. Yes.
Yes,
Cool. Well, thank you, Nick. I do appreciate it. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining in today, and glad we got everything worked out. Hope you enjoyed this session, and we will see you all tomorrow.
yes. Same time,
Perfect.
same place.
Yep. All right. Bye.
now.